I have made some bad decisions I deeply regret, but I believe that I'm not a bad person.
People have seen the headlines, but no one has actually heard from you since this public scandal broke.
I'm more than just a headline. I am a human being at the end of the day. It was just sort of like a friendship that just got way too close. I was told to stay silent.
What I do want to ask is why now?
There's so much more to this story that people don't know.
In a way, you've kind of been betrayed.
It almost did feel like a betrayal. They're the reason why I'm still here. And without them, I don't think I would be here, to be completely honest. Waiting for your lowest moment in your life to become public news is really scary, especially for somebody who's never experienced anything like that before. It just felt like this ticking time bomb. I had multiple death threats from not only people in the world, I had a few death threats from people in the group as well. And it really did just silence me because I was legitimately just scared. This darkness became my reality. I had felt like I almost deserved it.
So have people actually approached you in the street?
Actually, many times. When they brought my son into it, that's when I was like, this is when it started to feel like harassment. I was like, don't bring my son into it. There was rumours that Beau was somebody else's son.
There was quite a lot of online speculation about a swinging situation going on. I just want you to set the record straight. Is there anything that you wish people knew about the road that led you here?
That's probably something that people wouldn't expect. We were raised in the Mormon church. I can still rock up to church on Sunday and be welcomed with open arms. The people that go to church aren't meant to be the perfect, they're meant to be the sinners. I will 100% own my mistakes. I've never once tried to dance around my poor decisions. It was really hard losing people in my life because it was as a result of, my poor decisions and my actions. And I'm not trying to play the victim because that's not fair either. You only kind of need to feel this hurt once to be like, I'm never gonna put myself in this situation again. Lesson has been learnt.
You two are still amicable. You posted for his birthday recently.
Yeah.
Are you still together?
A little bit of tea, but Ben, he has...
Welcome to The Debrief, Daily Mail's showbiz video podcast. I'm your host, Savannah Young, and each week I'll be sitting down with some of the biggest names in entertainment, social media and pop culture to unpack the headlines, the rumours and the stories everyone is talking about. Late last year, AFL superstar Lachie Neale and his wife Jules shocked fans when they announced the end of their marriage. Speculation quickly erupted after Jules publicly referenced a betrayal, with rumours swirling that the breakdown involved her best friend, Tess Crosley. The story dominated headlines, social media feeds and group chats across the country, turning Tess into one of the most talked about women in Australia. But while the public conversation has raged for months, Tess herself has remained silent until now. In her first ever interview, Tess speaks out for the very first time, opening up about what led to the scandal and the aftermath that followed. From relentless public scrutiny and harassment in the street to death threats, even one from a member of the party, she speaks candidly about the toll it has taken and addresses the rumours that had followed her every move. And one thing is clear, Tess isn't here to play the victim. She's simply here to tell her side of the story. In her own words, this is Tess Crosley. Tess Crosley, welcome to The Debrief.
Thanks for having me.
People have obviously seen the headlines, they've seen photos, but no one has actually heard from you directly since this public scandal broke. How are you truly doing right now, mentally?
I'm doing well now, but the last 12 months was really, really chaotic and hard. I think that's sort of why I decided to come and speak today, because I think unless I actually verbalise it and talk about it, people don't really know what I went through and how challenging it really was. I feel like I have done a lot of therapy and self-work to sort of heal, and I definitely made some decisions I deeply regret. So I did a lot of self-work.
What would you say to people who only know you through the headlines and photos? What's the biggest misconception that you would want to clear up?
I think there's a few. I think, first of all, I have made some bad decisions I deeply regret, but I believe that I'm not a bad person. I also think it's important for people to understand that I was a nobody and I was in a high-profile scandal without all the high-profile help. When you're a high-profile person, you get the PR team, you get the management, you get, all the social help to help go through those situations, whereas I didn't. I had to do it on my own. And I think that was really challenging and confronting for not only myself, but my family and friends as well.
Did you ever consider approaching someone for help?
So I did, and then I found out it was a lot of money. And obviously, usually when you are high profile, you have organisations who, pay for it for you or sponsor you. But obviously, if I was going to go down that road, it would have been a lot of money. And it was just something where I thought, you know what, I've made some bad decisions. I deeply regret them. I'll just have to, just sit and wait it out. But I didn't think it was going to go on for so long. So that was probably the hardest part.
Yeah. Could you walk us through your journey before all of this happened? So prior to the 12 months, where you grew up, what your background is.
Yeah, so a little bit about myself is I grew up on the Gold Coast and I come from a family of 5. I have 2 sisters and we had, a really perfect childhood. I am very close to my sisters. I'm very close to my parents and we were raised in the Mormon church. So we grew up as Mormons and I went to school at Marymount College and, did the normal that. I did nursing after school and a bit of modelling and that on the side as well. And then I decided, I met Ben really early on. So we started dating when I was only 18 and we had met through friends, but he was also a member of the church. And I decided to pause that relationship and serve a Mormon mission. So I did that. And then when I got home from my mission, we got married. So I was 21, so I was pretty young when I got married. Wow. Yeah. And then we had, a great marriage at the start. Obviously had some really hard times as well, but we did a lot of traveling. And then in 2023, we had Bo.
Okay. Oh, nice. Well, let's talk about family. People find it so fascinating about you that you grew up in the Mormon church. Mm-hmm. You're still a member of the Mormon church?
I am not an active member of the church. So I grew up in the Mormon church and I am baptised in the church. So I'll always be a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is what they call it. So because I'm baptised, I'll always be a member. I don't actively attend church. I haven't for a few years, but I still respect the religion. I love its teachings and my parents will take my son sometimes as well because I do love some of the morals and values it teaches.
Is Bo also like a member? Has he been baptised?
So the Mormon church gets baptised at 8 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's at 8, I'll let him choose for himself. Obviously, it's really hard because he was so young.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, if he goes quite a bit and he's excited about doing it, I'll let him do it. But I don't think I'm ever going to force him to do things he doesn't want to do.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Would you consider ever going and attending church again or going back?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I don't completely align myself with everything, but I like things that make me feel good, and I feel like at the end of the day, it makes you feel happy. It makes you feel good. So yeah.
Tell me about your Mormon mission. What does that involve? Mm-hmm. Like, where do you go? How long are you gone for?
Yeah, so basically the church gives you a calling and they decide where you go. So I got my call and it was to Western Australia and I served in Mandurah, Joondalup and, oh my goodness, I forget the last one. Anyway, it was one more after it. And I was there for 18 months and it's really strict. So basically you proselyte and give service and you're just devoted to being like a full-time missionary for the 18 months.
What's that first? Proselyte?
So the door knocking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you do that and then, you're sort of just, asking if people need help around the house or if they want to know more about the church or just like having conversations with people basically. But you do that for a full 18 months.
Yeah.
And it's changed a few of the rules now, but when I served my mission, it's really strict. So you can't call your family. You don't have a phone. You don't have a laptop. Your whole purpose is to serve the church and basically.
So because you grew up obviously from Australia, you're in the Mormon Australian community.
Yeah.
It's strictly limited to Australia? So you just move around in Australia or can you go anywhere?
No, you can go anywhere. So Ben served in Denmark, so he speaks Danish. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then my sister, she went on a mission. She went to Thailand. And so you can go anywhere in the world. So yeah, a couple of my girlfriends served in Japan and Korea. I just got a little bit unlunlucky because I had to serve in Australia.
You're like, great.
Yeah.
Like most isolated area.
I remember getting it and I was like, oh, Drats. But, I met some incredible people, and so now I wouldn't change it. But
yeah. And so you hear all about it, that like when you go door knocking and, people just slam the door in your face. Yeah. Was there ever, obviously you probably would have experienced that.
Yeah.
Rejection would have been hard. I probably would have cried, like if someone slammed the door in my face. But was there ever a time where someone's like, yes, come in, and you're like, oh my God, okay.
Heaps of times. So I reckon there was only like a few instances that I was like, all right, we need to run. Like, they're not happy. Like, they slam the door and swear at you, and you're like, ah. And then, so that only happened a couple of times, but a lot of people are really sweet. Like, whether or not they were interested or not, just, the missionaries offer a lot more than just, preaching the gospel. They offer service. They help people like move house and do a lot of like projects for people, and, it's basically volunteer work, essentially. So the whole purpose of a missionary is to volunteer under the church's name. So it's really uplifting because you get to help a lot of people. And I met some incredible people who were going through a really tough time, and, going over to be able to clean their house or, help them, with an uplifting quote for the day, and they would cry because they're like, oh my gosh, I needed to hear that. It was, it was really special. And I think missionaries are quite misunderstood because you only think that they're
I only thought
the
that.
gospel. Yeah, no, but you do a lot more than just that. It's a lot more volunteer work, I think. Yeah, and if people aren't interested in the gospel, then you're more, we would take more of the volunteer approach if religion was off the cards.
Wow, that's really opened my eyes because I had no idea. I literally thought they just knock on the door and want to preach the gospel.
Yeah, no, and like obviously that is their purpose, but I think. Yeah, the purpose is to show them that, Christ was within everybody and that he wants to help everyone.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of volunteer stuff.
I guess then tell us, are there any misconceptions in the church? Because I always considered it really strict.
Yeah.
So is it strict? Like
it's very strict. Yeah, so I think the most common ones that people know about is no sex before marriage and no drinking, drugs, gambling. There's a lot more as well, but they're probably the main ones. They're the ones that people would always ask me, like, so do you live this? And is that what you do? You don't drink, you don't do this? And I did. I was a very faithful member, and then I married Ben, and it was only in the last few years that I sort of, just started to live life a little bit and to see what life was like outside of that Mormon world and culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was there anything that you had to do to, I guess, like you still call yourself Mormon, but step away from the church?
Yeah.
Was there anything that you had to do, like to let them know?
Not really,
or was it just like, I'm just not going to go to churches often?
It's really just like little things. Like, I'll go out and have a couple glasses with the girls, and, that's not a part of the Mormon faith, but I can still rock up to church on Sunday and be welcomed with open arms. I think the people that go to church aren't meant to be the perfect, they're meant to be the sinners. And, and I think that's my mentality is I love the religion. It gave me a really beautiful upbringing, and I know it's contradictory because a lot of people probably think because of this situation, like, the morals and values it teaches people are probably confused, but that's what I want for my son, is to have those, really wholesome morals and values as well.
Yeah. Was there ever a moment when you got brought into public life and with the whole scandal and everything, was there a moment where you turned back to the church, or did you kind of just keep a distant from it?
I think I did the opposite. I think that little bit of freedom just made me go like free. I think it was because, being suppress isn't the right word, but when you grow up fully
in it,
I didn't really get to experience a normal, typical teenager life where you go out drinking with your friends and party, and I wouldn't change that for the world. But I think there's always a little part of you that wants to experiment a little bit and live sort of like your normal teenager young life. And I got married really young as well. I was only 21, and Ben was the only person I had been with. So I think curiosity killed the better of me. And I think when I started sort of, like just drinking, it was like, well, this is fun. And probably took it too far. And I really I have learnt from that.
But I think that's more than also just religion. It's like if you grow up in a really strict family, I find that, friends or family that have had really strict parents, they kind of rebel a bit like later in life or like after school years.
Yes, yeah. There's always that. I feel like you hear it all the time. Yeah. It's like, you know, the school captain or or like the perfect cheerleader like goes through this rebellion phase. Yeah. It's just Netflix 101. But I feel like that was me a little bit. But, you know, reined it in, learnt from my mistakes and lessons. And I feel like I've got a good sort of balance now.
I'll circle back quickly to your mission. You paused your relationship with Ben. Yes. So were you like on a break or did you split or then come back? Like, did he know that it was going to be?
It was kind of messy. So we had to write letters together to be in contact with each other. So the mission rules are really strict. So you can write letters and you can only email once a week. And that's the only contact you have with the outside world. So we didn't break up, but I was like, I'm going to go serve my mission. And, he was really supportive. And I went and served my mission. And I think we were like writing like love letters and, it was all very like cutesy and stuff. And then I think maybe like a year into it, I think I just went like full Mormon mode and just sort of was like, I need to cut this off. Like, I think I just felt a bit guilty sort of like having a,
because you're away for such a long time.
Yeah, and 18 months is ages. It was so long. So I cut it off. And then when I came home, my mum threw me a 21st birthday and he came to it and we really just picked up where we left off. And so we did. So we broke up for a little bit there. But we hit it off pretty much as soon as I got home.
So you studied nursing. Yeah. Did you ever work on the field?
I got halfway through my nursing degree and I put on hold to serve my mission. So that's kind of why I stopped, was put on hold, serve my mission. I had the intention of studying again when I got back and I did start it. But then at that time, me and Ben were planning our wedding and I thought, I'll just work. And then I ended up working in orthodontics. So I went to teeth and then literally, I really loved the people I worked with. So I just got stuck in that career for years until I became a mum to Beau.
Yeah. Would you go back to that or is it a bit?
I think because it's so patient-based, it's quite difficult being a mum. And until Beau starts school, I don't think I'll be able to do both just because it's patient-based and, it's really tricky. So I think I'll probably do something that's a little bit more easier around
for sure
mum life.
Yeah. And what about Ben? What does Ben do? Yeah,
so he owns a business with two of his best friends and they work in sales and marketing and they've got a really good business brain. So they're always, starting something new and starting a new project. And so I just always tell people sales, marketing and business because for a while there they were playing golf on Thursdays and I was like, what am I? I was like, what do you want me to tell people? But he's done that for a lot of years now.
What does day-to-day family life now look like for you? Fast forward to today, what is mum life looking like in Queensland?
Yeah, I guess I'm just like your typical normal mum, regardless of whatever the day brings. Beau still needs to be fed. He still needs clean clothes. So I'm doing the laundry, cooking. He still needs cuddles. And we spend a lot of time at the parks because he's very active. So day to day, I'm honestly just a normal mum. I'm a full-time mum as well. So he's with me full-time. And that's usually what my life looks like. And we like to keep busy. So we hang out with a lot of our friends that have kids as well. And I see my sisters a lot with their children. And
nice. Now, looking back on the last 12 months, how would you describe what has unfolded in your life? If you want to, take us through what happened.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm here today to take accountability. So I've definitely made some decisions that I deeply regret. I don't feel like it's appropriate, though, to talk about other people's personal lives. I can only talk about my accountability in my personal life because I just feel like that's not fair for people to have their private life spoken about. In saying that though, there's obviously accountability I can take, but there's always context on how I got there. And I think the hardest part is not being able to share that context because it really does help people understand how I got to a place where I made some decisions I deeply regret. However, going back, obviously those decisions happened and then it just obviously came out on the media and I think I was just really rattled by just how hectic it really was. And I think that's sort of like what I am happy to discuss, because I don't think people actually really understand what I sort of went through personally as well during that time and how hard it really was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what about before it came out in the media? Like you were obviously, there must have been a period where like nobody really knew and it was kind of just you guys that knew. Like how did that feel in that, you're kind of like in like a limbo stage before media caught on?
Yes, yeah.
And found out. How were you feeling at that time?
I think you sort of just go a bit numb almost. Like I think like reflecting back, it's just a really dark time in my life, and it is really hard to obviously open up about it because it is such a dark time, you know, waiting for your lowest moment in your life to become public news is really scary, especially for somebody who's never experienced anything like that before. So it just felt like this ticking time bomb of hell. And yeah, so I just think I was just really scared, and, you know, I took the opportunity to converse with some of my really close family and friends and just open up about the situation.
And you were saying that, you know, in the moment, your family, you turned to your family for support during the scandal and everything. What did they initially think when they saw not so much it unfold, but like when they started seeing that there was media attention?
Yeah, I think they were scared for me, honestly, because no one in my family have had paparazzi at their door, like sitting there for hours waiting for them to come to their house, or, you know, harassment online or bullying. It's never been something that my family's experienced before. So I think it was just really confronting. And I know my family, you know, they sat with me and they're like, yes, we don't agree with what you've done, but we know you can make bad decisions and not be a bad person. And I think that was really hard because all they wanted to do was voice that to everybody. But I kind of had to sit with them being like, we can't, like we just have to ride through it. And I think that was really hard for them, just not being able to tell my story for me because I wasn't ready to tell it.
And what about your sister?
Oh, Tanika. Yeah.
So she's also quite famous.
Yeah, she's got a big following on TikTok.
She's found out, yeah, she's got like 2 million followers on social
Something
media.
Like that, yeah.
And like obviously you would say that she was arguably more well known than you when this news broke. Yeah. But she's barely posted anything this year. You guys are still close, as you said.
Yes.
How's your relationship going with her now? Obviously, because she's kind of, I wouldn't say retreated, you know, if she's gone quiet, but like, is everything okay? Or is
she's gone through quite like a hard time, and she's pretty open with it, so I don't think she would mind me sharing, but she's had a few challenges in her life where I think she just really wanted to focus on that and put all her attention into healing herself and becoming healthy again. So she sort of put all the social media stuff to the side. And yeah, we're all really close and we support one another, you know, through thick and thin like sisters do. And well, you know, they're always going to be the first people that I call and vice versa when something goes wrong.
You have 2 sisters?
2 sisters,
Are you eldest, middle? Or
middle.
There's also been a lot of discussion about friendship and loyalty in the wake of the allegations. What have you reflected most deeply? The people that you've turned to, what is the one thing that you're the most grateful for?
I think like in terms of being grateful for like the circle of friends and family that I have that supported me, I think them just sitting with it with me. And, you know, they say that sort of what I mentioned before, they don't necessarily agree with actions I've made, but they know I'm still a good person and helping me through it, you know, in times where I couldn't really see myself and, you know, just letting me know that time heals everything. And yeah, I'm more than just a headline. I am a human being at the end of the day, and everybody makes a mistake at some point in their life. And mine's obviously, well, not now, but was about, you know, several months ago. And yeah, they've been very supportive, but being able to see it for what it is and not agree with it, but be there for me.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That, like, public backlash can just sometimes make people feel reduced to their worst moment, you know, as it would have for you. How have you, I guess, balanced, you know, taking responsibility for the mistakes that you've made while also just trying to preserve who you are as a person? Like, as you said, I'm still human, you know. How have you kind of managed both of those things?
Yeah, I think it took a little bit of time to not believe even what I was reading in the headlines, because not everything's obviously even accurate in the headlines, but you start when so many strangers and hundreds and thousands of them are not only trying to tell you that, criticize what you've done, but also trying to criticize who you are as a person, what kind of mother I am, and trying to, just change my thoughts about, who I am. That was really, really tough. And I think I definitely had to do sort of like a lot of therapy and, just do a lot that helped me sort of heal in myself as well, because I think the saying goes like hurt people. Yeah. And unless you heal yourself, you're always going to, hurt people will keep hurting people essentially. And I just really wanted to focus my time and attention in healing myself first. And I felt like I'm still doing it, but I feel like I was able to do that through, therapy, confiding in friends and family, and just finding things that make me happy again. And I think, as I've done that, it's made the outside noise quieter.
Yeah. What are those things that make you feel happy again?
Yeah, honestly, nature. I love going to the beach, family time. Like, I surrounded myself with family again because I am sort of living in between Brisbane and the Gold Coast. So my family's on the Gold Coast, so we spend a lot of time all together again. And I think just like looking at things that are really important in life, and that's obviously family, friends.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, grounding myself.
Yeah, just all the natural things and just stepping away from social media.
Yeah,
it's rough out there.
It's
wild.
It really is.
But you just told me earlier, off camera, that you guys were only friends for about a year before all of this happened.
Yeah.
There was quite a lot of online speculation about a swinging situation going on. I just want you to set the record straight, just to clear up any rumours, or to clear your name. Yeah.
I think, like I said, there was a lot of context that people don't know. But I think due to respect of the other people involved, I obviously can't talk about their private lives. And most importantly, there's 3 children involved as well. Yeah. And that's probably the hardest part, is as much as, clearing rumours up really, help myself, I just don't think it's fair to have that stuff out to the public, given it's other people's private lives, my private life, and the children's private lives as well.
Is there anything that you wish people knew or understood about the road that led you here?
Yeah, I think there was multiple things that happened in my life that took me to a place that was quite dark before everything sort of started to happen and unfold. And part of it was in my own marriage, which I won't go into, but that was one side. And also, I think it was just sort of like a friendship that just got way too close. And I think I experienced love bombing, which I think definitely changes your brain chemicals. And I think back and just think that was not me during that time. And, I can have all these, answers to these questions, but I do still have to be accountable at the end of the day and take responsibility where it's due.
How have you adapted from going and, as you say in your own words, like being a nobody, to now living under such an intense public spotlight, especially when dealing with online attention and like parasocial behaviour? Like, how have you kind of adapted to living in like these, I guess, 2 different worlds? Yeah,
I still feel like I am still adapting to it. I didn't really understand parasocial behaviour until I was obviously in it, and it is crazy to me that people do have these parasocial, like, what do you call it, like a relationship based on what they see of you online. I think, so it's actually quite tough. And I think people who are, high profile and have, who are quite used to this, they're really good at being able to block out the trolls and block out the noise. And I think it took me a while to be able to do that. I think I would see any negative comment and take it to heart and think about it for days. Whereas now, you see it or you don't even read it anymore. I just see something and I just keep scrolling. And so you sort of learn, I guess, how to, block the outside noise out. And I think people don't realize too, like I was getting thousands of messages every day. Like it was like, I think obviously people read about it, but I don't think people see obviously behind the scenes and see how much harassment and bullying you get. And it was not only like on Instagram or Facebook, but it was like in my email, people were calling me, like finding my phone number. So I had like harassments. I had death threats, multiple death threats.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I had death threats from not only people in the world, I had a few death threats from people in the group as well. And it really did just silence me because I was legitimately just scared. And I think from that, I had stalking. I had some really dark situations happen to me as well when I was like out and about, you know, going out for drinks with the girls. And I think that is a really scary side of social media is these headlines not only, you know, they're not just a headline for the person involved, they become your new world. So this darkness became my reality and that was really, really tough for me.
The way people treat you online, you know, anyone can say anything behind a computer, you know, and they just like mask it. But like to be coming to you publicly. Yeah. So if people like actually approached you in the street and said many times. Yeah.
Like
when you're with other people or just on your own?
Yeah, and look, sometimes they're not actually all negative either. Like, and that's probably the bizarre thing is when someone approaches me, I don't know what way it's going to go. A few times I've obviously been harassed and a couple of times I was with my son. And I think when they brought my son into it, because I was with him, that's when I was like, this is when it started to feel like harassment. I was like, don't bring my son into it. Like,
because I remember you posted something a couple of months ago and you were like, this is where I draw the line.
Yeah.
Like with when it's brought up about my son. So I just thought that was all purely online talk.
No.
I didn't realise someone had actually spoken to you in public.
And I think what people don't see is like people will say their 10 cents to me. Well, it was actually a hectic conversation. And my son wasn't, he was like screaming. He was just so unsettled. And because I was getting agitated, it made him more agitated. But what people don't see is like, yeah, it might be a few words to you, but they don't see me like locking myself in the bathroom an hour with my son crying, like on the phone to my mum. Like people don't see like how a few words can really like, you know, destroy
I just can't believe
you.
someone would be so bold to just go up to a stranger and say things like so horrific.
I don't think I could ever say it to anybody, even somebody who's done something a lot worse. I don't think, but I think it comes back to those parasocial relationships where I think people genuinely believe everything they read online, and unless you obviously correct it, people don't know. But then as you sort of get to a place where you want to correct it, then it gets really tricky because then there's defamation lawsuits and lawyers, and it depends how far the parties want to go. So sometimes it's just easier being silent. But when the harassment started, that's when I was like, no, this is too far. Like I've had enough. And it was the first time I spoke out and just said,
that's it.
That's my line.
Because we had Chloe Pink in like our previous episode, and obviously very different situations, but you have both been involved in like the AFL world. She was receiving bullying online for the way that she looked.
Yes.
And it was very like, she noticed that a lot of the comments were men or like people who looked up to her husband. Did you find that a lot of the people that approached you were men, or was there like a balance of, it was just like a rogue mix?
I think it was a rogue mix for me, but still at the end of the day, it's still somebody behind that fake profile. So it still hurts.
Can I ask what some of the things people said to you?
Yeah, honestly, just like everything. Like, and I think that's when I was like, it's crazy that people can base who you are off a headline, because it was comments about my parenting. It was comments about the way I look, calling me all sorts of names, shaming me on like my features or how I look, the way I talk, even like a few things like I think one of the paparazzi uploaded a video of me, and it was that was completely out of context, by the way. And when I get nervous, I laugh and giggle, and I had no idea he had a body cam on. So like he wasn't filming me, he was wearing a body cam. And like just little things like that. And then people just only see a snippet of it. They don't know the full story. And then they just, you know, and then I remember getting DMs from that being like, you're just an attention seeker. You love this. And I was like, I cried in my car like after it because my heart was beating so fast. And he was like, I'm going to stop following you now. Like, let's call this like even. And I was like, so I was really kind. Yeah, I was like really kind because I was like, thank you, stop following me. Like it's getting dangerous. And so I was like really kind back, being like, please stop. And then all people got out of it was just this little giggle and this smile, and I had no idea I was getting filmed. And then that's posted, and that brought in so much hate as well because people only see snippets of things. But anyway, it's wild though. And I think my self-esteem got really, really low like after it because people were really ruthless.
Was there ever a moment where you actually read the comments and think like, oh, you know, like where you felt probably really alone and were like, you know what, maybe they're just right? Like I know it sounds so awful to say, but like when your self-esteem is so low, you're just like, oh, like, you know?
No, I like, honestly, like this whole, like people call it like a saga, but it was like the lowest point in my life. And I don't think people saw that, like, because I obviously didn't share it because I tend to be a happy, bubbly person, and like having a child too, like I don't want to put my darkest moments out there forever. So that's why I was very quiet and sort of like controlled about the whole thing. But like people don't know that like I suffered really bad depression, and like I definitely experienced suicidal ideation and people don't, like I get people don't see that because I don't share it, but like people's words really hurt, and I think it's it really got to me.
Really? I'm sorry.
No, but it was really tough, and I think that's why it was important for me to come on this because I think unless I voice sort of what I went through, and like to some people it was just a news article or headline, but I was like, this is my real life. Like at the end of the day, I'm still a human. Like I will 100% own my mistakes. Like I've never once tried to dance around my my poor decisions, and I've done the inner work to really reflect and try and become, you know, a better person. And I still believe that like regardless of my bad decision, it doesn't define who I am moving forward. But it is really tough when everyone tells you that's who you are and puts you in this box and won't let you out of it.
Definitely. What I do want to ask is why now? Like what has prompted you now to speak out and address everything that's happened to you?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and there's a lot of moving parts to this question, so I might just sort of break them up. The first and foremost was from the get-go, I was told not to comment by other parties, and being new to sort of this world, I was like, okay. So I sort of held that and decided not to comment. Another reason was I was getting death threats. So I was getting death threats not only from some people in the party, but also from strangers online as well. And as somebody who's experiencing a new world like this, that's extremely scary as well. So that really did silence me, I think. And I was just in a really dark place, and I really wanted to heal myself before coming forward publicly, because I deeply regret some decisions I've made, and I know I've made some bad decisions, but I know I'm not a bad person. And I wanted to be in a place where, yes, there's context to everything, and like there's a lot of missing context, but I wanted to be healed enough where I'm not putting other people down just to make myself look better. And I think that was really important, that I healed myself first, so I'm not bringing other people down with me.
Of course. And can we brush on the death threats? Because that's really serious.
Yeah.
To say that it came from like members of the like party, do you mean like your friendship group and things like that?
Yeah. Somebody, I won't use names,
no.
but yeah, somebody involved was sending me multiple death threats. And and it's really tough because obviously it's tough because it was like I felt like I almost deserved it, but I also look back now, I'm like, no, that's really hectic. No, I don't think anybody deserves death threats.
At all. No. And did you go to police about it, not even just the death threats, but like the harassment, you know, people approaching you in public.
Yeah.
Was there ever a moment that you went to the police?
Yeah, I rocked up to the cops, the cop station one day because I was like, I've had enough. And I spoke to a lovely gentleman, and really all I could do was put on record. There was a lot I couldn't do, but I can't obviously talk about it, but I have like a lawyer I've been working with, and I do, obviously have to keep that confidential. But I have people who, have helped me sort of navigate a few things.
That's good. I feel like it would be hard to, if you know you're getting anonymous death threats online, that it would be hard to sort of track down.
Yes,
you know?
And it's really hard because I'd probably then have to get like a private detective and, you know,
that's
find
a whole
out.
other thing.
Yeah, it's a whole nother thing. It's possible. I think, was it Indy Clinton who did that? Yeah, I had a lot of messages from people saying, no, like Indy Clinton did it, you should do it too. And it's honestly, I'm kind of tempted just to call some people out.
Why not?
I also think, I'm like, I wonder if the people who have been bullying me are the same people in like Chloe Pink's inbox. You know, like I wonder if they're like the same people. So like, I don't know, maybe
the people that always have something to say.
Yeah. And it's awful that people can say that to anybody. Doesn't matter like whether it's me or, you know.
But it's also, as Chloe Pink said, you know, it's a reflection of them. It has everything to do with them, and it's got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
You know?
Again, hurt people, don't they? So, and that's what I see now. I'm like, you know, you're probably going through something really tough. And I feel like if anything, it says more about them. Yeah. And I do sympathise for them and hope that they get the help that they need and do the inner work that they obviously need to do as well.
Yeah, of course. Without speaking for anybody else that was involved in all of this, is there anything that this experience has taught you about, you know, the impact that our choices can have on like the people that we care about? Yeah, absolutely. I think that was the biggest lesson I learned during this whole thing, is how one decision can change a lot of lives very quickly. And I think the lesson I learned was, before making any decision, pause and not only think about how it can change your life, but how it can change other people's lives as well. Definitely. And, you know, friendship breakdowns can be incredibly painful. Grief, there's so many different ways that people deal with grief, I guess it is. Like, you know, the loss of a friend.
Yes.
How did you deal with this kind of loss and change in your life? Yeah,
and I guess like it was really hard losing people in my life, because it was as a result of, you know, my poor decisions and my actions. And I think that's probably the toughest thing, is being being a reason why. I think it's really hard to wear that. And so I think just doing therapy, doing a lot of work on myself has really helped.
Yeah. Can I ask what you thought of Jules's first statement when she came out, like when it all came out, the news that they had split, and when she spoke publicly and said that she'd been betrayed? How did that make you feel, seeing that for the first time?
I think I was like, okay, I think this is going to go public now, obviously, because people started connecting a few dots here and there. It was really hard though seeing it, because I thought we sort of made the decision not to make any comments publicly at all. And then only a couple months ago, I also learned that somebody from the parties was sending private information into the journalists, and that was really hard. That was really hard, because I was like, well, I've been staying silent out of respect, and there's so much more to this story that people don't know, but I'm not going to bring others down just to make myself look better either.
Yeah. I guess it's such a different level, but I guess on what you thought was going to happen and that it would be dealt with privately. I guess in a way you've kind of been betrayed, where it's now been like flung into this public ordeal that you didn't ask for.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, obviously I take full accountability. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I take accountability. I'm very, very regretful of some decisions I've made, and I am so sad that I've hurt people that I truly did love. But I do think it was sort of like it almost did feel like a betrayal, hearing that people who, you know, wanted to keep things quiet weren't keeping things quiet, you know, by doing things anonymously. I think that really hurt, because But it explains a lot at the same time, because I always was thinking, I was like, why is there so much about me? Like, I'm a nobody. And then you have this person who was a high profile person. And at the time I felt like there was no airtime for him. It was all about me.
Yeah, it was all about the girls, really.
Yeah, and it was like delving into like my Mormon life and like my mission. And I was like, I have nothing else to hide. Like, so I was like, go for it. But I was so confused for ages. I was like, why is it all me?
Is there anything you wish you... I guess, is there anything that you haven't said or that you wish you could have said to the party, or even like just Jules herself? I mean, you guys were best friends, but is there anything that you wish you had said or that you haven't said and kind of not regret, but I guess in the moment?
Yeah, no, not really. Like I've handled that situation privately. I've apologized to the people who deserve apologies, and I did that privately. And obviously I kind of feel like a podcast probably isn't, the best way to to speak to somebody. But yeah, I think people the public probably just need to know that I wish I could go back in time and change some of my actions, and I obviously can't. So all I can do is keep healing and, keep becoming the person I want to be. And that's a very different person to that person back then.
Of course. After Jules' statement that she put up on her social media, that was the moment, as you said, that was like, okay, I think things are going to start coming out publicly. Mm-hmm. But I guess there was this like icing on the cake, which kind of just really gave it all away, which was when she commented on one of your photos asking you to take it down. Mm-hmm. How did that feel in that moment for you when I guess you received that notification of the comment?
So to clarify that a little bit, I actually got multiple comments from her and her friends bullying me on my social media account. Really? So it wasn't just that one comment, and I actually hadn't seen that comment until it was posted, because I got absolutely bullied by her and her friends and blocked them all, because I was just like, that's probably the best thing to do. So I didn't even know that was a thing until it actually came out. And I even had Ben confirm things, asking if that was a legitimate comment, because we didn't know if it was AI or if it was real, but it was a real comment. But just through like the multiple comments I was getting, I never saw it. And obviously I think, as I mentioned before, this whole thing's been new territory for me. And like I reflect back and I'm like, I probably shouldn't have posted, and I probably should have taken all the photos down. But I remember asking a couple of people in the party like, do you want me to remove the photos? And they're like, oh no, it's fine. And so like, I think because I had sort of consent, I just thought, it is a chapter in my life, not really putting myself in somebody else's shoes. And I probably should have done that. But just because I was so, everybody was hurting and people only see it from their side. And I was probably only, I was being probably a bit selfish, only thinking, oh, well, it's a chapter in my life. Like, why do I have to delete it? But as I reflect back now, I'm like, okay, probably should have done things a little bit different. Yeah. Probably should have like stayed completely silent and turned my profile on private.
Sure, but like the post was also from a while ago. Like it was uploaded a while before everything had kind of come out.
Yeah.
And I mean, deleting a photo can sometimes speak more volumes than not.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I just didn't want to do anything big. I think I didn't want to also take down a lot of photos and make it obvious, of the scandal. And there's still, I still look back and they were incredible memories, and I have a terrible memory. I'm a photographer, I prefer photos, and that's why I love photography, because I remember things. Like if I see a photo, I'm like, oh, this is what happened that day. And that's just how and that's why I do love social media, is because I love that it can be like an online journal. And but it probably was one of my downfalls, was posting, because it probably did seem very insensitive, and I do deeply regret that. But I think I was also, I don't know, I think my profile had like 70 million views or something. Like it was insane. And it was just like, I think I was just trying to distract the audience, because it was very obvious it was me, and I couldn't take the bullying and the comments anymore. So I think I was just thinking, okay, well, if I create this new narrative, like maybe it just will brush over. But I think it probably did the opposite. But, I can see that now looking back, but in the moment you don't know that's what's going to happen and how people are going to respond.
Yeah.
And it's so like hard, because there's so much in you that just wants to like stand up for yourself.
Yeah, of
and
course.
like the amount of like stories are like backspace being like, no, I'm not going to say anything. But like, you know, clearing rumours up. Like even Beau, there was rumours that Beau was somebody else's son.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I remember I just had a point where I was like, don't bring my child into this. Like that is 100% a rumour.
Yeah.
There's no truth to it at all. Like, and
But
I remember.
how did that make you feel thinking like, oh my God, like
It's
just like ridiculous.
Yeah, and they honestly just started getting more and more ridiculous from there. And that's obviously like the negative in staying silent, I think, is obviously you start getting these rumours that get worse and worse and worse. And obviously clearing up would work. But again, I was told to be silent, and I preferred being silent as well because this isn't my world. And I mean,
you approached the parties and asked initially if you wanted to take the photo down. Were you expecting them to be silent through all of this as well?
So just to clarify, I spoke to 2 of the parties, so it wasn't everybody, but just to clarify that. So the way I viewed it from how I was talking to people was that no one was going to make comments. We wanted to keep things super confidential. Through other parties as well, people were liaising between us because obviously it was quite a difficult time for all of us. And they were telling me that they were going to stay silent, and I was told to stay silent. And so I upheld my end of the bargain by staying silent, didn't make any comments. And so I think I was really shocked when I found out that someone in the other parties wasn't doing the exact same as me.
Yeah. Do you still speak to any members of the parties?
No, just Ben. Yeah, I haven't spoken to anybody for months now.
Has anyone else's reaction through all of this surprised you?
I think this is what everyone would probably a little bit of tea, but Ben, he has been incredible, and I think that's probably something that people wouldn't expect, that my husband, who was hurt, be so supportive of me and be so helpful. And I think that reaction definitely took me by surprise. And yeah, he's an amazing dad, and he has been an amazing support, like my parents and my sisters and a couple of my really close friends. I honestly couldn't have done it without that group.
With Ben, you two are still amicable. You know, you posted for his birthday recently.
Yeah.
Are you still together?
Well, we're still both healing in our different ways. Without going into too much detail and respecting his sort of private life, like nothing's perfect. We had a great marriage, but certain things have happened in the past that I won't go into details about. But I think we both have come to a place where we both make mistakes, and both of us aren't perfect. And I think we see it like that. Yeah. And so rather than, holding grudges and, letting each other suffer, we're wanting to build each other up and be the best role models we can be for our son. So we hang out like a family all the time, and we are, best friends, and we have a really, really good relationship. And we're not together like in a relationship kind of way, but we'll just see what happens. We're both healing in different ways.
Yeah. You still call him your husband? So I guess that's quite a nice. Well, I think that's nice.
I think it's 10 years together. It's such a long time, and we're not legally divorced yet because I think you have to wait 12 months or something. Anyway, I don't know. Honestly, I don't really. Honestly, we haven't even really talked that deeply. I think, I was so hurt that it's just delayed everything. I think so. I think. Only now that the media's calmed down, I think I'm only starting to heal some wounds of things that I should have been healing from the very start. I think most people, when they go through breakups or, are hurt, they start the healing straight away, whereas I felt like mine was almost 8 months delayed because I was just fighting,
because it's so public.
Yeah.
But now that things are starting to, as you say, die down, do you think things could change between you and Ben? You're taking every day as it comes. Yeah, take every day as it comes. And I think at the end of that day, our main priority is Beau, and we get along, we're best friends, we love spending time together. And so I think we're just happy doing that. And we'll see what the future holds. But he has been a really great support, as well as my family and a couple of my girlfriends. That's nice. Have you decided to return to using your maiden name, or will you?
Yeah, I guess obviously, like I kind of mentioned before, we haven't, legally done anything yet. So for now, I'm just Tess Crosley. I think I've been it for about 10-ish years now. So it just feels normal to me. And Beau has the surname Crosley as well. So I know a lot of mums do like to keep the same surname as their children.
Yeah, well, like Nadi Bartel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I fully, I think it's just a preference of choice for yourself. Like, I fully understand why some mothers like having the same surname as their kid. And
yeah, of course.
Yeah, but my name was Caesar and I really like the name Caesar. So
I like both. They both have a really nice ring to them.
And I'm still TC regardless. So I don't think
actually that's good.
Yeah, so like it doesn't matter if I get things like what do you call it?
Your initials or like...
Yeah, like on my drink bottle and stuff.
Yeah, like your keys or your wallet, custom number plates.
Exactly. I get to be TC regardless. So so I'm not set either way. I'm just going with the flow really.
Nice. And what lessons have you learned when it comes to setting boundaries for yourself and then who to trust? Because obviously, there have been friends who have gone against your boundaries. You've received, as you said, death threats from members of the party. What's this whole experience taught you about trust and then boundaries?
Yeah. I think first and foremost is you can never go wrong with family. Like, I think I've just seen how, you can just trust them with your, my family anyway. I just know that they're always going to be there for me and pick me up. And whether they agree with things I've done or not, I know that they've got my back and they've been incredible. As for friends, I'm really lucky with a few of my girlfriends. And yeah, I think it is tough though, because life changes constantly and you never know what it's going to throw you. And I think intuition is always really important as well. I think you always have that little intuition in your stomach kind of telling you like what's good and what's not. And I think I've learned to trust that intuition a little bit. Yeah. I think I always have had those feelings before and I'm like, oh, it's just like I'm being silly. But now, I think I've learned to trust my gut, basically.
Can we delve a bit more into like the healing process for you? What has that really looked like? You were talking about going to therapy and things. Yeah. What has that looked like for you in the past 12 months?
Yeah, obviously it was a bit of a whirlwind, to be honest, because like I was in such a dark place and it's not easy pulling yourself out of that. But therapy really helped. Obviously just sort of dealing with like medical professionals as well really helped as well, and getting the resources and things I needed just to help my like mental health. And again, surrounding myself around good people who, just sat with me while it was a really dark time was like, honestly, like they're the reason why I'm still here, is the people who, have been with me the whole time. Yeah. And without them, I really don't think I would be here, to be completely honest.
And you've obviously felt able to have honest conversations with the people that are closest to you. Was there ever a moment in your circle of friends where you were like a bit standoffish, or were you always just comfortable?
I think like from at the start, it was like a lot because I didn't know like how much I obviously could have shared. And then I think, I'm quite an honest person at heart. I think I talk and wear my heart on my sleeve. And I think I knew it was going to be like, there's, 4 stories basically. And then they say there's 4 stories and then the truth. But I think I came to my family and friends and said, these are the facts. This is what happened. This is how I feel. To my knowledge, these are how these people feel, but they're entitled to feel how they deserve to feel. Yeah. I can't comment on that. And I just sort of gave them everything and just said, like, ask me anything. I have broken trust and the last thing I want to do is break more trust. So I really just wanted to be authentic and honest and, just really give the people who I love and trusted everything. So nothing was going to catch them by surprise or more information wasn't going to like out me. So I was just really honest and I told everybody everything and I think they just appreciated that. And now
I think that's also the best way to go about it. Like, I'm an open book.
Yes.
Like, ask me what you want to know.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And obviously my close friends and family know, my full truth. I shouldn't say the full truth because everyone has entitled to how they feel, but like know my story. And I think they do sympathize with me a little bit because they have seen how hurt I was. And like I said, I've made bad decisions. I'm not trying to play like the victim.
No, of course.
Because that's not fair either. But I think that, they were able to sit with me and hear everything. And
Do you think this has reshaped your priorities and changed what you want out of life moving forward?
I think so. Like, I think just almost like I don't mind some parts of it, but just having a slow life again, you know, Bo was growing up so quickly, and I think he's been my main priority in all of this. And I think that's why I decided to talk today even, because I wanted him to know that I'm more than just the headlines as well. Obviously he knows that, but like from a public perspective, like I want him. And I think just enjoying time with him. I think seeing how my family and friends were there to hold me up during such a tough time has just made me so appreciative of them that, like, you know, it just changes the way you look at people and how you want to help them when they go through their struggles and hardships. And so many of my girlfriends would sit on the phone with me for like hours, just, you know, letting me cry or letting me vent and, you know, now I'm able to like reciprocate the same for them as well. And it's taught me to be a better friend. It's taught me to be, you know, a better sister and a better mother as well, because, you know, you only kind of need to feel this hurt once to be like, I'm never going to put myself in this situation again. Like, lesson has been learnt.
Definitely. And it's another thing, seeing the people that are by your side and knowing that they'll always be there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I feel like you get given things in life so you can help other people go through them. And even like little things, like I won't say any names or anything, but a few girls who I've seen, you know, cop media afterwards, like, you know, just being able to reach out and be like, hey, I hope your mental health's okay. Like, I know it's tough. Like, and just little things like that. I got a few messages like that as well when I was going through it. And it's just nice to be seen. And I think little things like that go a long way for people who are going through a dark time.
What would be the piece of advice that you could give to someone else who may be going through a period of similar, I guess, public scrutiny?
Yeah, I think it's important to take accountability that's genuinely yours first and foremost, you know, but then also it's important to not let other people's opinions of you dictate who you are as well, and not to believe those, you know, opinions. I think it's also important to, you know, just get offline, you know, just try not to read it too much, and surround yourself with people. And if therapy is optional, you know, therapy really helped me, and that's probably what I would advise people, is just doing those few things.
Yeah. This whole situation has affected several people, you know, not just you, but how do you then hold space for, I hate the word hold space, hold space for the hurt that may have been caused while also trying to rebuild your own life, you know?
Yeah. No, it's really tough. And I think that's why I was going through such a dark time, was because I was wearing all that hurt that not only affected me and my life, but multiple other people and the children and things like that. But I think the only thing you can kind of do from there is never do it again, and go, you know, take accountability and just remember that feeling so you never put yourself in that situation again. Yeah.
I guess now, looking ahead for the next few years, what personal and professional goals are you looking forward to?
Yeah.
What's coming up for you?
Yeah, this is like a tricky one, because my first and foremost priority is being Bo's mum. I love it, and time is going so quick. So being a full-time mum is my thing, and I love it, and I want to keep doing that until he probably starts school. It's crazy too, because this whole thing has really like changed my life a lot. I was given some opportunities that I turned down because it wasn't like a good timing, but maybe in the future, like, I'll look into those opportunities down the road. But otherwise, I'm quite creative. Like, I love photography and sort of, you know, I don't know, just like that creative side that's in that like photography kind of world. So I've been kind of doing a little bit of work on that side, and and doing a little bit of modelling again. And
when did that all start?
It started in school. So I won this competition with this agency, and they sort of signed me up. And from there, I sort of did a lot of modelling during school time. So I was kind of out of school quite a bit. And I really loved it. It was a really cool opportunity, and I got to do some cool things. And then I decided to serve my mission for my church and I got married. So I kind of felt like when I did that, I sort of just stopped. It just kind of felt like it was a different phase of life then. So I did like I would pick up random jobs here and there but I haven't been with an agency since school, but now I just freelancing work pretty much. So
I mean, I guess like when Bo starts school, would you ever consider going back into it more as a full-time basis?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, like it's so hard to build your self-esteem back up after feeling so bullied. But I do, like I've done it before. I enjoyed it. And so I don't say no to really anything. So yeah, I mean, I can always give it a go. And if I don't like it, I don't have to keep doing it.
Do you have any plans to reconcile with any of the parties?
Obviously outside of Ben, I think everybody looks like they're doing, well. Obviously that's just off social media. And so I think it's just probably the best thing to do is give them peace to move on with their new chapters and their new lives. And I've obviously said my piece behind closed doors and I think I'm just going to leave it like that.
Well, Tess, thank you so much for coming on the Debrief. You're so articulate in the way you speak. We've had a great chat.
Oh, you're so kind.
Really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for watching. New episodes of The Debrief drop weekly, so be sure to come back for more. And don't forget to subscribe to Daily Mail's entertainment YouTube channel, where we catch up with Hollywood's biggest stars, chat to your favourite reality TV personalities, and bring you all the latest entertainment news and gossip. See you next week.